That death certificate holds up almost everything. Until you get it, you cannot handle half of what you need to handle.
Vital records like birth and death certificates are essential, but a statewide backlog is making it tough for Central Texas families welcoming a newborn or those working toward closure when a family member dies.
Maggie Lohmiller speaks exclusively to a Killeen widow who says the wait made it healing that much harder. Maggie?
Joe and Lindsay, the state agency which issues vital records, is experiencing a backlog, and they say they need more employees, which is why they're asking lawmakers for more funding.
This was the hardest thing I've ever been through in my life.
The pain is still raw for Sheila Spence after losing her husband Ricky to cancer back in January. A family man and softball enthusiast, his family keeps his memory close to their hearts.
Things happened so fast. I think that most of our friends and family just couldn't process that this was happening.
As the family grieves, they were met with a challenge. They had a long wait for Ricky's death certificate.
Every time I called to check, somebody is telling me, you know, there's this backlog, there's a backlog, you know, give it another couple of days.
The Spences spent all their savings on Ricky's medical expenses.
All of the government agencies that I would have to deal with, including the life insurance, will not do anything without the death certificate. So basically you're in limbo. Back up to how are you going to pay for the funeral?
She waited more than a month, and she wasn't alone. As of March 22nd, there were 60,873 requests waiting to be processed. This includes not just death certificates, but also birth certificates and verification letters for marriages and divorces.
Do you feel like this process delayed your healing?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The state says that the average number of days to complete a request has sharply risen by 42% in the past 5 years. The number of requests has increased, but the staff to fulfill those requests has largely remained the same. We spoke with the Texas Department of State Health Services. They say they have requested additional funds and full-time employees from the legislature to address this issue.
There's just so much to deal with. And I don't think that anyone, unless you've been through it, lawmakers, I think, have no clue how this affects people.
Sheila says this is far from a clerical inconvenience. The process took away from the time she needed to mourn and piece her life back together.
There are just some things that, to me, are common sense, and this is one of them.
The agency is asking for at least 17 employees to focus on the backlog. In Killeen, Maggie Lohmiller, Central Texas News Now.
All right, Maggie, thank you. The Texas Department of State Health Services is asking lawmakers to provide just over $3 million to help maintain and distribute vital records.